One calls in, the 911 call comes into us at the 911 center.
Right.
We take very minimum information, and then we transfer to Puckett. They get all the rest of the information, and then they dispatch the ambulance. So we are technically taking that dispatch call and dispatching Puckett.
So we want to change that. So what we're talking about, Joyce, is on page 2, the line item number 5, and basically how, because the question came up in the last meeting, is that in the particular relationship we have with Puckett is they provide their own dispatch services. But this line was saying the proposal must allow ambulances to be dispatched, by Sequatchie 911. And we changed that to say, or provide dispatch, but we're not 100% sure that is the way to do.
To be dispatched.
Here's what I have, and the proposer must provide acceptable dispatch services or allow Sequatchie County ambulances to be dispatched and monitored by the E911 Communications Center.
Or we could just put in all circumstances, Sequatchie County retains the right to monitor and locate ambulances.
Yeah, I had that as a second sentence.
Not in when you say unlocate ambulances, what do you? Because when I hear that,
yeah. I mean, I think that's the word that when I read that, that's the problem I have with it. That word locate, the way it's written, because it looks like we're telling them where to locate it.
Okay, we can take that out. Must be okay. The proposer must allow ambulances to be dispatched or provide dispatch service and be monitored by the Sequatchie E911. We just take out located and just change that to and be monitored.
So read that again without located in it.
The proposer must allow ambulances to be dispatched or provide dispatch services and be monitored by the Sequatchie County E911.
Originally, we had provided acceptable.
Or provide acceptable, or we can say acceptable.
Do you want to be responsible for dispatching them?
We do now.
Yeah, the call comes to you and you send the call out to them. Then all you do is monitor.
Correct. So the call comes, we dispatch them, then we can monitor their movement.
Right.
But they pick the ambulance to move from where
That's correct.
Most convenient.
Well, because they're a
location.
contracted service, you can't. There's only so much you can do under a contracted service.
I don't know how to word that.
The way that read almost sounded like it was a requirement for us to dispatch them. If you read that again slowly, it almost sounds like we're requiring them to have us dispatch them. Did I hear that wrong, Joe?
No, he's right.
Yeah, he is. Okay, the proposer. Well, because here's the thing, and the reason it's written that way is because you might have somebody that wants to bid on this that does not provide their own dispatch service. So we would provide the dispatch service at that point. At that point, they would just station ambulances here and we would direct dispatch those without going through their own dispatch center.
May just want to open that up because we know the 911 call's got to go to Brian's team. That's number one. It has to go there.
Right, yeah, it's just the way it works.
Yes. And you may want to change that. May be dispatched or can be sourced through the provider's dispatch. Just something that's where it's not a direct requirement for Brian's team to dispatch them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see us get put in a box.
Correct.
Brian's team's required to do all their dispatch.
Proposer can choose to dispatch ambulances or allow Sequatchie 911 to dispatch. In all cases, Sequatchie County will be monitoring or
Yes, something like that. Just take ourselves out of a box.
Yeah, that one right there. All right, so let's go back. The proposer must either provide
or allow Sequatchie EMS to
provide dispatch services,
Acceptable
We had acceptable.
okay, acceptable
dispatch services.
or allow
Sequatchie County 911 Communication Center to dispatch.
And we would prefer it to stay the way it is.
That's what we had originally. Last time we did. Must allow to provide acceptable dispatch services or allow to dispatch. They gotta provide services or allow you to do it. So there's an either or.
That's what we
Right,
said last time.
that's what we said last time.
And then the last sentence, where we tacked on, in all cases, Sequatchie County should have the right to monitor all ambulance, is that movements?
That's what we do now, we monitor their movements. And the good thing about Puckett's program, we can actually see where they left from and their destination.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how I change that. The proposer must either provide acceptable dispatch services or allow Sequatchie E911 Communication Center to dispatch. In all cases, proposer must allow ambulances to be monitored by Sequatchie County E911 Communication Center. Think that's a reasonable?
That takes us out of the box.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
All right,
Okay, so we got that changed. All right, what else?
page 5.
Page 5. Okay.
At the top. So we were talking about just leave it, just identify potential county-owned properties where they can put them wherever they want, depending on,
Yeah, I think we left that. I changed that when we put that, when I typed this out, because it says the proposer shall determine. Wait a second. No. Yeah, okay. The proposer shall determine for Sequatchie County a minimum of advanced life support units on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Ambulances may be stationed at the current emergency hospital facility on Rankin Avenue in Dunlap or another suitable location by agreement of proposer in Sequatchie County. So that leaves it open. We're providing that. If they want something else, then they need to pitch us on it.
but, okay, so, but I mean, okay, so we gave them at the current hospital facility and we put the address in there. Or the other property that we said we bought, the 391 Williams Road property, or some other suitable place. Because they may decide they go lease some other space that's not county property.
That's correct.
Yeah, depending
But in
on-
this particular case, we can reach an agreement on all of those.
But what I'm saying is when they're figuring out how they want to provide the service, times and cost and all that, they need to know the addresses of the county properties that are available.
Well, I can put that street address in there, the current hospital, emergency hospital facility at,
Yeah, that's what we had, 16931 Rankin Avenue.
I didn't know what that was, at 1693 at
16931 Rankin Avenue.
931 Rankin Avenue. Okay, so I just added the emergency, so I changed that to say emergency hospital facility at 16931 Rankin Avenue in Dunlap or another suitable location by agreement of proposer in Sequatchie County.
Jeff, can I ask you one thing?
What's that?
What about the property at Cindy Gardner? We bought her the 2 acres. Now,
Yeah.
wasn't that bought sort of in cahoots with all of that?
Yeah, but with it doesn't, that's not, for the proposal, for this thing right here, this is not, that's not even a factor.
Okay.
Right now, the available office location for this is at 16931. If we wish to change it, we can then strike an agreement to do so. We can strike an agreement and tell them to put your station in your front yard if we want to,
Sounds good.
as long as everybody agrees with it.
Well, I mean, and suitable location by agreement of proposer in Sequatchie County.
Yeah, that covers everything. I think that covers everything. So the only thing we just missed, I couldn't remember that stupid street address when I was typing this
Yeah,
out.
it doesn't make them aware of what county properties are available.
We don't care what they know or not.
I mean,
We can come back and propose something different in a final contract,
No, that's what
or
I'm
in the
saying.
future.
For them, when they're working on their proposal, they need to understand what county properties are available, because that's gonna determine like their response times and that, you know, how they figure out their costs. They're gonna do that from a location that they station the ambulances at. So if we have these properties available, we need to make it known specifically where they are.
I guess my thought
I don't
process
think we
on
need to
that
do
is,
that.
right now, it is at 16,931.
Yeah.
So this RFP is gonna go out before we ever get anything going
Yeah.
on a new complex for the ambulances or whatnot. So I say we leave it like this, open-ended.
But the county doesn't have to build a complex. It's up to the provider. You know, we just give them a location.
Right, and that's what we've
And then
done.
They can lease the property, or some, in the contractual agreement, there's some deal made with them on how, do we lease it, do we give it to them for nothing in exchange for them building, you know, whatever.
And I guess my thought process on that is if the proposer wants a different location, once they win the RF or the contract, then we give them those addresses and then they look at the suitability for what they want. And I mean, with that property, it is so close,
It's not gonna
you
change
might
times.
change 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a factor.
But it makes a difference, like the two they're so close, okay, so the location doesn't really matter much. But the property, when they look at it, they're gonna look at, do I wanna invest any money in it? You know, what's the square footage? Can I bunk people there? Does it have a, you know, like a place where where you basically have a closed garage like you do now? That's why I'm saying you need to identify the properties.
So as far
'cause
as
they're
I'm
different.
concerned for this particular proposal, that other piece of property is not even a factor.
It is.
But it's not. At this point here, our intent 100% is to put them where they currently are within that hospital facility.
They may not want to be there though, Jeff, that's what I'm saying.
Well, then
It's
they
up
have
to
other
them.
options. They can come back to us and give us other agreements, but that piece of property there is really, it's not, to me, it's not suitable at this point to do what we're wanting to do, so therefore it's not even a factor. Why list it?
They may want to take that property and improve it in exchange for maybe no rent or whatever, that's what I'm saying, but at least the property is available and they know that. They can write that into the proposal, you know, how if they choose that property, they're gonna base their response times and everything else, and then also their costs. If they have to improve that property, or is the county gonna improve that property, that goes into the negotiation, into the contract, but they at least need to understand that that property is available.
I think if you start getting too many properties in, you're not going to compare apples to
There's
apples.
just two.
I agree with that.
I mean, we said over a year ago that we bought that property for the ambulance,
For a possibility.
and we
to do
paid a
something
premium
different.
price for that, and it's just sitting there idle.
But on a bid process, if you compare apples to apples, you need to let them all bid on the same exact where we are at now. If they want to do something different later, then that's a different conversation with them.
Right, and we've given ourselves an out for that too. We've given our right here that we could go through and agree to that.
I would not list a whole,
No.
I wouldn't list any more than what we have where it's current. Let everybody bid based on current.
I agree.
Because if you don't, you're going to have bids from A to Z all of a sudden.
But they may be a better deal. You know, they don't have to use that building, they can go somewhere, they could go downtown and rent another property if they want.
They can if
Now,
they
that's
want.
something they'd identify.
But we currently have it at one location. You got to have everybody bid based on one set of rules.
Yep. I agree with that.
I just can't agree, because I'm looking at, like, when we had Puckett sitting here last time, we talked about the costs, right? And if you have, these two properties are very different, even though they're right next to each other. You know, as far as how they would, if they wanted to choose that property for whatever reason, their costs are gonna be different.
But I think there's a whole separate conversation with whoever wins the RFP.
Yes.
We're here to get a service.
Right.
We're here for a service. If they're in building A, B, C, or G, we really don't care. We're here to get a service.
No, I get that. Then why should we even put any address in here then, with that logic?
Well, because the address that we're giving them here is what we're willing to provide. As
At
part
this
of it.
moment.
At this moment in time. That's what we're willing to provide. Everything
So
else,
we bought that property for no reason then?
No, we bought it for plans of expansion of the medical facility, or the medical campus, I should say, in the future.
And there's no such plan. This was, I remember this conversation. Is it was for specifically because we were going to originally move Puckett in there, but it was for the ambulance.
I don't think it was ever for the ambulance. My intent in supporting that piece of property was available, and it was one of those situations you strike to buy a piece of property when you have it available because you might need it in the future. If we decide in the future we don't want it, we can always stick a for sale sign on it and make money. It's not going down in value. They aren't making any more property. So as far as I'm concerned, that piece of property was put into a reserve for future use that we might come up with later. But
Yeah,
as
right
of
now we got a piece of real estate that, that we
Linda,
bought.
you made this argument all that time ago about this property, and it's an old argument, and I very much disagree with you on that.
Let's move on to get this done.
I agree. So all in favor of leaving it like putting this language in here, and I'm going to read this out just so we can take a vote on this. The proposal shall determine for Sequatchie County a minimum of advanced life support units on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Ambulances may be stationed at the current emergency hospital facility at 16931 Rankin Avenue in Dunlap or another suitable location by agreement of proposer in Sequatchie County. Do I hear a motion to accept that?
Motion.
Second. All in favor? All opposed? 3-1 passes. Next.
At the bottom of page 5, it should say, you change that to, instead of Dunlap, it's City of Dunlap, that's a minor.
Which one is that?
Under response time.
First responders, bottom of page 5.
Okay, first person.
Sequatchie County / City of Dunlap.
And Sequatchie County, and you just want to put City of Dunlap?
Yeah.
It's just okay. Next.
We rose above.
Did you change that up there to 45 minutes from 10 minutes?
Yes, I did.
Earlier on 40.
Page 8, quality improvement program, we just need to take out something from this because we decided it does, because this is a standard thing. That
Okay, where we're looking?
Page 8, quality improvement program, we just need to strike is something the county needs, because
Oh, yes, I see that. I missed that.
So it just needs to say quality improvement program?
Yes. I missed that. I took the yellow highlight off of it in this document, but I didn't take that off. So deleted. All right, next.
what did Jennifer say? At the bottom, page 9, we talked about umbrella liability. The current contract has $5 million each occurrence and $5 million aggregate. What did Jennifer say about those numbers?
I have not heard back. You said that the current coverage of at least is currently 3 and 5.
No, it's 5 and 5.
You know what? I think we can make that decision here and just change that to 5 and 5 because that's, the difference in $1 and $5 million worth of coverage is nothing. If that's what we want to do, is that something we want to do as a committee?
The one that we're on now.
Is in the original?
I'm looking at the updated one, so I don't.
I think we can do that to 5 and 5 without a problem. And I think that's probably the smart thing to do.
Keep bringing it in.
The umbrella coverage of $5 million per each occurrence and $5 million in annual aggregate.
Okay. I make a motion that we change that to 5 and 5 from 1 and 2. Do I hear a second for that?
About 60,000.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
50, 60 is a bunch.
All right, change to 5 and 5. All right, next.
Federal gas tank, they do $21,000 in the base.
Page 10, under community support and training, again, strike, we struck, is this something the
Yeah,
county
let's see
wants?
that, thank you. Now, I took all this yellow off and I didn't
So
delete.
they're making it back in this code.
Okay, next.
I've seen that on this curriculum.
Now, some of it I took, there was a bunch of yellow highlights on this thing that I removed, and I forgot to remove some of the text that was in yellow highlight. I'm an IT guy, not a Word guy.
At page 12, that number 10, the utilized, and that was about those, the technology updating. We changed provided to utilized, I think you probably did that. Underneath.
Let's see, on page 12, number 10, proposer will be responsible for costs associated with updating technology and services utilized
Okay,
by
yeah.
E911. Is that what we want to say?
It's in there.
It's in there. I didn't
All right,
print it
yeah, it's there.
out.
All right,
Sorry.
next.
We had, okay, under response damages on page 13. Failure of the proposer to meet response time requirements may result in a penalty fee being imposed by Sequatchie County upon the proposer based on the following. We had agreed to / contracted.
Okay, you want to, okay, so that failure of the proposer to meet response time requirements may result in a penalty fee being imposed by Sequatchie County upon the proposer based on the following.
And we had agreed to / contracted response times.
We need a comma after proposer. All right. That just didn't read right. Okay, failure of the proposer to meet response times may result in a penalty fee being imposed by Sequatchie County upon the proposer based on the following meeting. Based on the following.
That does not make
Based
sense.
based on meeting the following agreed on. Based on, yeah, meeting should come before following.
Still don't read right, Jill.
Now, hold on, we need to change it one bit at a time.
Proposer based on.
No, because following is not, it should be based on meeting the agreed on response times. There shouldn't be any following there, period.
Or demonstrating the ability to meet.
You know what it was? There was, okay, here's what it was.
It's based on
It was
demonstrating
following
the ability
colon,
to meet.
where is that? Following colon, and then all these things. So this should just say response time of all portion, or agreed upon or contracted response times of all portions of the service area. That's why this is wrong. This was a colon here. That's why it doesn't read right.
Okay. All right, hold on a second. Let's see what-
Type it like Tommy just said it.
How did you just, all right, Tommy,
It was based on demonstrating the ability to meet,
based on
demonstrating
demonstrating,
the ability
No,
to
that-
meet. Then I think, then I think that's where you go into the required response time.
okay, so yeah, that makes sense. All right, so all right, now that you've changed that, plus what I've changed, I'm going to reread this again. Failure of the proposer to meet response time requirements may result in a penalty fee being imposed by Sequatchie County upon the proposer based on demonstrating the ability to meet agreed on response time. Proposer to include response times offered in the proposal.
Do you have a variance? Did you all list a variance?
So this further reads, it says percentage of responses to emergency requests which satisfy response requirements. Damages per monthly period, damages are cumulative. 90 to 100% meet is no penalty, 80 to 89 is a $1,500, and 75 to 79 is $3,000. Less than 75 is $5,000, penalty to immediate review for possible agreement termination. We could just change this and say failure to meet proposed or failure to meet agreed upon response times would be could be cause for termination of this agreement, and then we could just get rid of all these little penalties that are in there.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, that's how.
I mean, okay, if they're not going to meet the response times, well, let's get rid of them and find somebody who will.
So,
But they're gonna report at the end of the month. There's a reporting template, which we used to get. We don't get it now. But there's this range that they have to stay within 90 to 100%, and then, then it goes down from there. If they fail to meet that, then the penalties are assessed within different brackets of percentage to meet those times. You got to give them.
I think that needs to stay, because that may be something bad happened at one point, 1 month, that they've lowered theirs and then they bounce right back the next month.
Yeah, because then what you're saying, if you just don't give them these brackets, and it could be, they just can't meet it and there was a good reason, but,
Persistence.
Yeah, if you find them in just violation of contract and you don't give them these bans, then, it's pretty easy to be in violation of contract.
So we'll leave these in here.
I mean, their response times, Puckett's they've been in the 90s,
I don't think they've ever dropped out of the
No.
90s.
I mean, basically what you're putting it in for is as a financial penalty for them deciding to make us play second fiddle to somewhere else they
Correct.
might have, contract base on. If we're going to hire you, we want you to do the job you're being hired to do.
Correct.
All right, so how does this read now?
Okay, so let's go back to the top. Under response damages, failure of the proposer to meet response time requirements may result in a penalty fee being imposed by Sequatchie County upon the proposer based on demonstrating the ability to meet agreed on response times. Proposer to include response times offered in proposal. Percentage of responses to emergency requests which satisfy response requirements. Damages per monthly period. Damages are cumulative. 90 to 100% no penalty. 80 to 89% is a $1,500 penalty, and 75 to 79% is a $3,000 penalty. Less than 75% is a $5,000 penalty and immediate review for possible agreement termination. Actually, it probably should say or immediate review for possible agreement termination for cause.
Leading up to.
Okay, so say that again, Tommy.
Just put leading up to termination of contract.
Okay, so we want to say less than 75%, 5,000 penalty, and immediate review for possible agreement termination leading up to.
Okay, so you put termination, whatever your monetary amount was, and contract consideration leading up to termination of contract.
Okay, and
leading up to
I think it's
termination
fine
of
the way it is.
contract.
We're saying the same thing.
It is, when you put leading in, it gives you an out. If something
But the
just
word
crashes.
possible is already in there,
Yeah,
so,
and leading up to termination of the contract, there may be some horrifying extenuating circumstance.
right, but this says immediate review, right? They pay a penalty, there's an immediate review, and could be possible termination of the contract. That's what this
penalty?
says.
Okay, so based on that, I reworded it this way. Less than 75%, $5,000 penalty and contract consideration leading up to possible contract termination.
You need to leave the review in there because you're going to review the circumstances. Which could lead to possible contract.
And contract review. And,
Good Lord, it feels like a furnace zone in here.
okay, less than 75% is a 5,000 penalty and contract review and consideration leading up to possible contract termination. That reads kind of funny. Tommy, what did you think of that? It just kind of reads.
The other thing, so you say your penalty, you say your immediate review, and then you could say after the immediate review, which you could actually say which could include possible termination of contract. Penalty, comma, review, and then what could happen.
Okay, so yeah, we need to get rid of that
You
and
got your
that's in
penalty
there.
in there, you've got your review statement in there, then the end result could be leading to a termination of contract. Because I think that's, you're trying to say you've got 3 steps on that particular point.
Okay, so let's change, I've changed it this way. Less than 75%, $5,000 penalty, contract review, and contract consideration leading up to possible contract termination.
I think you just covered it.
I think we just covered it. It's amazing what getting rid of an and a well-placed comma can do. All right, everybody in agreement with that? All right, next.
Okay, towards the bottom of that page where it says, right to monitor and audit during the period of agreement and for 7 years. We have 7 in there, the number, but we need to write in 7 instead of 3.
Oh, yeah, I guess 4, because I changed the number, but I didn't change the, good catch. All right, and I did that. Next.
Okay, on page 14. Like the third line down, through June 30th, 2030, with the option to renew, instead of 1, it should be 2.
Yeah, you're right, I missed
the
that
word.
too. Okay. Next.
Page 18, number 5 under references. Again, 3, the word 3 instead of 5.
Yep. All right, done.
Just a space is given.
Where is that, 19?
Yeah.
19. That is, yeah, is given. All right. Next.
20.
I think this just gets into legal mumbo.
No. So again, page 20 references that they must provide 3, the word 3 instead of 5.
Yeah. similar to size of Sequatchie County. Okay.
We had March 3rd, where submission of proposals when they're due. And then, is it the 2nd or the 3rd? 2nd's a Monday.
Monday's a Monday. Do you want to make it? The only reason I think we had discussed that, changing it to the 2nd or the 3rd, just because of our retreat is that week.
Right.
And that gives us a chance to get those, proposals disseminated and out to everybody, just so we can do that. I don't think it makes a big difference if we can leave it on the 1st or the 2nd, or we can change it to the 3rd.
Either way, I'm just saying.
Let's just leave it on the 2nd. That way, if it's a Monday and,
It gives us another day. Where proposals should be addressed to, we need to add the email. Because we said we would do it electronically.
I seen that just then when I was just reading that. Where was it?
Page 20.
well, the package containing an original copy, with one electronic copy.
Right, so you got to just add the email.
Actually, we only wanted to do.
Oh, it's down here.
I think the package containing original copy and 5, we only need,
We X'd out and we crossed out and 5 copies of your proposal.
yeah, we don't need 5 copies
No.
of this. There's no. So it should say the package containing the original copy, clearly defined as original, and 1 electronic copy.
Right, but so this is where they deliver the original, and then you got to put the email address for the electronic. And just put it underneath,
Right, but I would imagine they'd probably give it to us on a thumbstick or something like that. It says right here, facsimile or email proposals are not to be accepted since they do not contain original signatures. So they're going to have to deliver that as an electronic copy one way or the other. So I changed that to say the package containing the original copy clearly identified as original and 1 electronic copy must be sealed and marked with, yeah, you don't want them emailing this stuff because the idea is to have sealed bids, right? And you're not going to have them open, which would then give them, the electronic copy would have to go within that sealed bid. They would have to provide a thumbstick or something like that to do it. I mean, surely to God they can afford $6 to put a thumb drive in there with that information on it.
I mean, it's only going to the office, to Keith's office.
It doesn't matter. If you're wanting to keep it, if you're wanting to keep it a sealed bid to where nobody else sees that, you can't have an email in advance. It's all has to be contained within a sealed envelope. You can't have it both ways.
I would just mark it sealed bid,
Yeah,
and it
just
can be
mark.
either and then just say how you want it, either a written or a,
Well,
or Jeff, you can say it, PDF format on a
Thumb drive.
memory device.
yeah, okay. And one electronic copy, PDF format.
That way, there's some security for them that way.
Okay, so here's how I reworded that. The package containing the original copy clearly identified as original and 1 electronic copy, PDF format on a memory device, must be sealed and marked with the proposal's name and RFP emergency ambulance services noted on the outside. Facsimile or emailed proposals will not be accepted since they do not contain original signatures. Postmarks will not be accepted in lieu of actual receipt. Late or incomplete proposals may not be opened and considered. Under no circumstances, regardless of weather conditions, transportation delays, or any other circumstances, will this deadline be extended. Questions will be received until February 20th to 26th. Any questions received after this date and time will not be answered. All questions and answers will be posted on the Sequatchie County website by the end of the business day on February 27th. What day is the 28th? That's a Saturday, is it not? Sunday is the first, Monday is, yeah, it has to be Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Do we want to change that February 26th and back it up to the 25th? Just to have 2 business days from when that is, to where posted answers, to give them some way of doing that? In fact, we can back that February 20th up 2 days as well.
How long will they have to do it? From January when?
They'll have from tonight, once we issue this, and the proposals are due by noon, March 2nd, which was that Monday following February 27th. But if we do it at the close of business day on Friday, that really gives nobody any time to act on it until Monday, which the proposals are due. So we need to make the proposals due on February or March 3rd to give one more day, or we need to back up those dates a couple of days.
Go to March 3rd.
You go to March 3rd?
That's what we originally.
Okay, so we're gonna change that to March 3rd, and we're gonna leave those dates. All right, so we're gonna back that up and go March 3rd. So do it 12 noon on March 3rd. Okay? Email questions to Keith Cartwright, Sequatchie County Executive, is at squetchx@blitzo.net. Okay, next. Actually, I should say, is everybody in favor of those changes?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, now we can go to next.
This was on the back of Murray County's. These are required, the Iran and the Israel thing. They have to sign that to make sure that they're not, doing anti-Israel protests. That's just coming down from the law.
That would be part of the final contract, I would think. I don't think that's a requirement of a proposal.
But they have to affirm that they're not, otherwise you have to throw their proposal out. I mean, you wouldn't want to select them and then find out that they don't adhere to that.
Do you guys want to add this to the?
Probably so.
I mean, I'm all in favor of not colluding with Iran and not protesting Israel. I mean, God, anybody who knows me should understand that by now.
Is there a federal reference document?
There's a TCA. This is actually a state law, Tommy.
Okay, I would just put a note in there that they must be in compliance with DCA.
Yeah, we don't even need to put that. That'll be part of the final contract signature.
And that's what, having the that tells them also it's a law.
All right, so I can just list that as number 10 on here, on actually the beginning of page 22. 10, what's...
It's called the Iran Divestment Act and then non-boycott of Israel. Yeah, if you put it in there, if they sign the proposal, which they will do, then you probably don't have to fill out this application.
Right. Proposer must agree to honor or
Be in compliance of.
be in compliance of Iran Divestment Act. Iran Divestment Act, comma, and
non-boycott of Israel.
Would it back know whether you need less than TCA codes or not?
I doubt it.
I think so too.
You think we should?
I think you should put them after each, like when you
Yeah, okay, I see that.
then put TCA code
TCA,
1212-101 and 1212-113, and then the non-boycott
Israel.
1241 TCA. Wait, that ain't the code. That was established. Yeah, that is the code.
TCA section 12-4-1. Okay, so I just put those numbers in there. Proposer, so I put the number 10. Proposer must agree to be in compliance of Iran Divestment Act TCA such and such and Non-Boycott of Israel Act TCA such and such.
Do what?
Okay, and then that becomes, that will be part of the contract that's signed. They will have to sign that as part of the contract when they do that.
And to Linda's point, which is valid, it also lets them know, hey, this is an absolute requirement.
Yep.
So,
I mean, it is state law.
do what?
Okay. All right, what else? That's it? All right. Save as ambulance RFP. Okay, as ambulance RFP final.
I'll see a few of them. This cool spill.
I change that over to PDF. All right, so is everybody in agreement with that? So we need to take, with submitting this out and submitting this out for a proposal, so we're gonna issue this RFP as it stands today. Is everybody in agreement? So I need a motion and a second to do so.
I so move.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. I'm gonna forward this to the county executive, and I will email all of you here in just a second with this. And this is gonna be what we send out to get proposed. What else do we have that, anything else needs to be discussed within this committee tonight? Anything? Hearing nothing, I'll hear a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion, committee is adjourned.